Welcome back to 4-4's Best Ball Happy Hour. As always, I am your host, John Daigle, joined by friends in life yet again. First up, he is none other than Pro Football Focus Ian Hartitz, who is very excited about the return of Spring League football tomorrow night.
Let's freaking go. Not tomorrow night, John. You clearly haven't done your research. It's actually Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, first game. Then got a triple header on Sunday, USFL season. I could not be happier. And you can check out a full preview with myself and ETR's finest, Cody Main, previewing the league in a crisp 90 minutes on a Monday over on the PFF Fantasy Football Podcast.
I thought the first game was primetime Friday night. Did I get week 2 mixed up with week 1? Maybe I did.
I hope it's Saturday. Otherwise, I really look like an asshole.
Look that up while I'm introducing Underdog Zone Hayden Winks, who probably is too invested into rookies to care about USFL right now. And quite frankly, I wouldn't blame you.
I couldn't name 3 players in the damn league. And I'm going to keep it that way.
They all came from AAF, XFL, or the FedEx around the corner, and they're trying out. You're not going to miss much. Don't worry about it, especially when everyone's talking about the same thing. We'll discuss that later. But for tonight, last week, we already did rookie-sophomore drafts, and we told you and showed the best way to approach those or to draft 2 quarterbacks to start, and you leave the scrubs to everyone else. So what we're going to do tonight is leave the scrubs for us and then try to bail ourselves out to show you how much of a disaster it is if you wait on quarterback for rookie-sophomore. Ian, are you prepared for this mentally?
No, I hate when you do this. We're not going to win any money doing this, John. We want to try to prove a point. This is a silly point.
We take on pain for everyone else's gain. We are teaching people. That's what we do, is teach people.
Hayden freaking makes this shit, and he can tell us right now it's a dumb idea. Why do we have to go further than that?
We're gonna win $10,000 with Davis Mills stacks. That's the goal today.
Is Davis Mills ADP still?
Davis Mills ADP is probably the best of all the quarterbacks, but I like him as my quarterback 2, not our quarterback 1, which seems like what we're going for right now.
We also, Ian, have a shot list, a rookie-sophomore shot list that I will put into the chat right now. I have Yingling on me because I went to get wine. I want red wine right now. But since I'm on the road in a hotel currently, I always think if you carry an open glass of wine in the elevator, you're either in Vegas or an alcoholic. And so I was too ashamed to do that. So I grabbed Yingling instead, and I brought a glass back to my room.
Yeah, get the tumbler cup thing, and then it could feasibly be something else. But a true alcoholic will also know that's probably wine. So either way.
The red wine will be calling my name after the show, though. So rookie-sophomore shot list in the chat. We are waiting on just one more for this draft, and we'll do a couple tonight and get out of the way.
Look, I love my sheesh and red wine, but the thing is, after I've had a bottle, so when you look in the mirror and you just see it all over your lips, you're like, Jesus Christ, dude! Have some respect for yourself here.
Daigle, real quick.
Go ahead.
If we have 4th pick, who are we taking? Are we really going to double up Jalen Waddle and who? Breece Hall, I guess. That's what we're going with here.
I think so.
Oh man,
that's the point of the exercise.
All right,
it's to show people what happens when you don't take a quarterback early.
Okay, fair enough.
No matter what Ian thinks of my exercises, there's method to my madness.
Yeah, I guess. We go. Would you put Waddle over Kyle Pitts straight up? More PPR points, probably.
Hayden, your thoughts?
I haven't done projections like that, but it sounds about similar.
Sounds close.
Yeah. Sounds similar.
I haven't done the projections just yet either, especially because right now I think the Falcons are going to add a wide receiver. They need help everywhere, but I think they're going to add a wide receiver at number 8, and that will screw up projections certainly, especially if it's Garrett Wilson. So
let's just take Waller's one game with Mariota and project that over 17. Call it a day.
I'm really trying to figure out, as we're waiting for just one more in this rookie-sophomore draft, what the hell is going to happen with Cordell Patterson. Since last 7 games, he was an early down grinder and didn't do anything because he can't run between the tackles, obviously.
He was fucking hurt.
If he was hurt, why was he averaging double-digit carries to the last 3 games when they scaled him back?
Because the Falcons are dumb. But he sprained his ankle against the Cowboys a quarter in, and he was supposed to be out for a month, and he comes back 2 weeks later, doesn't play well through the pain, excuse him, and then all you haters got to come out of the woodwork saying he can't do it again. I wonder how our impression on Zeke and C-Pat would have been if they just didn't play when they were hurt, like Derrick Henry and DeAndre Swift.
Do not
heroically trying to go and play through the pain. So people like you
20-touch Zeke to
like you
Cordell Patterson.
John.
Do not do that. That's crazy. You're going to be comparing Jamar Chase and Auden Tate very soon.
Look, I'm just saying the way we talk about injuries is interesting. Like right now, I feel like people are more confident in James Robinson coming back from Achilles than ETN with the foot, even though ETN's had the entire season. I mean, it's fair to worry about both, but I don't think we treat all players the same with injuries that we should.
Well, I don't think we should. Like J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. J.K. Dobbins is the more explosive player. Like,
I mean, we should be considering everything. Like,
sure. Like the ETN, James Robinson. James Robinson was later in the season. He's also not an athlete at all. He's just good at playing the position. Whereas ETN is an athlete. So, like, I would, and also a year removed, over a calendar year removed. So, I, of course, trust ETN more. But yeah, take everything into account for sure. There we go. We filled this thing. And cross your fingers saying that we don't have number 4. We have one.
Hey, let's
go.
go. Let's go.
101.
I think this is viable. This is actually kind of interesting to do 0 QB with the 101.
Because that turn is going to be ugly. As Bullock says, I'm just here for the plus EV, knowing we're trying to show something to everyone. Also, Kevin Cole, big fan. Thank you for joining. Can't wait to see you again, since the last time I saw you, we had lava chicken tenders together. Well, at least I had a lava chicken tender and burnt my throat off in Nashville.
Lava was so spicy or so hot temperature?
They made you sign a waiver, and they only sold one at a time.
Temperature.
And what do you think? Spice. What do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to go for that. Like, I'm not going to say no. I'm going to go for that.
That Nashville chicken is good.
Oh yeah,
Hattie B's
elite food.
It's caked in black dust. It is terrifying.
Jesus.
All right.
I would never try that. You could not pay me to try that.
We only live once. Javonte Williams or Najee Harris?
Why not Jamar Chase?
Or Jamar Chase?
I vote Jamar.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't mind Jamar.
Give me those top 3 receivers before anyone other than probably Jonathan Taylor. Is that fair?
Sure.
Jefferson, Kupp, and Chase, obviously.
The Jalen Waddle conversation is really interesting for redraft because between him and Tyreek Hill, like, you just want the player who's more involved in the passing game.
We really think Tua's about to enable 2 top 12 receivers? I don't.
No, but wide back usage is not good. So
I kind of wish Waddle wasn't like bottom 5 in yards per catch last year. I know there were circumstances and all these RPOs, and he is that fast, and he can take the top off. But man, there were a lot of like 8-catch, 80-yard games in there, and it's cool that he has that floor and has the potential to hit bigger plays. But sure would have been a lot cooler if we saw that. I don't know. And I mean, let's face it. I think Amon-Ra, look about all the shit that Amon-Ra St. Brown gets for like only going off when Hawkinson and Swift got hurt. I mean, everyone was like hurt or out in that Dolphins offense last year. There was nobody. And Tyreek Hill is a million times bigger competition than DJ Chark or whoever.
Yeah, I'm not going to have too much Jalen Waddle this year, sadly.
I'm not going to have too much Tyreek Hill either.
Same.
It's a sad story. I'm going to have more Raheem Mostert for one game than anything.
Now everyone wants Raheem Mostert. I was there when it was cool and bankrupt worthy.
All right, on the comeback now. This is where it gets interesting. We have
Jamar Chase is on the shot list to Jamar Chase.
Oh, cheers to that.
Woo!
So
Hayden drinking pure vodka. Damn.
Woo! It's water.
Hayden, what are we thinking?
What's up? Who's the running backs?
Etienne, Elijah Mitchell.
Ooh.
I said we got to pick one of them plus Amon-Ra. It doesn't matter to me. Etienne and Amon-Ra?
Yeah.
Let's get freaky.
Let me do this just in case. Etienne and Elijah Moore, Etienne and Amon-Ra. We're not going to get Zach Wilson.
Ooh.
Or maybe we will.
I think you can start just based off of the roster spots. I think that we should go with the wide receiver instead.
So Amon-Ra St. Brown or Elijah Moore?
Amon-Ra. We can try to stack him with one of the rookies.
All right, cool. Yeah, I didn't have a good reason for it, but I do wonder. Look, the Elijah Moore, I saw like the 5-week stretch where he was putting up big time numbers. But let's face it, a lot of that was bullshit. End the game. I saw him cooking Byron Jones. Like he can do it. The player coming out, I know people were high on him before last year, but it's still a pretty unknown situation. And my God, like every Drake London or someone going there or Garrett Wilson at 10, like that's gonna impact the target share. And Corey Davis isn't gone. Braxton, I don't think Berrios is too much of a problem, but Elijah Moore, I feel like is just already being priced up a lot for someone that hasn't done a ton yet.
Big agree. Even just Corey Davis being healthy is like matters for him.
Yeah. Like he better beat AJ Brown good already.
I do actually lean towards Corey Davis being the loser in it. Like Braxton Berrios didn't get a small contract. He got $12 million. That's quite a bit for a slot receiver.
I
don't know who loses out, but I do know Zach Wilson can't carry 2. Like 1 is still a question.
I agree with you. I think Berrios is fine. I don't get people mocking them to a wide receiver. Maybe they're planning on doing that. So like you're mocking them because you think it's going to happen. Like that's fine. Mm-hmm. But I don't know why the Jets would feel a need to do it.
Yeah, getting one edge rusher or one corner would make their team so much better than a wide receiver. Like their wide receiver talent is like already at least fine. So I really don't understand it either.
So these are the quarterbacks available.
Mitchell's still here.
So this is our start. Etienne, Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown. We waited on quarterback, and yet we still have these guys.
Let's get really weird and get Mitchell.
Is it? We have Elijah Mitchell available?
Yeah,
let's do it. Mac and
Elijah Mitchell.
Let's go all in on your dumb game, Daigle.
Do we go one more round, Hayden? Do we stretch it to see? I think we stretch it to see. That's the point of the dumb.
Because one of the teams already has 2 quarterbacks, so I guess you can possibly get freaky with it.
You play dumb games for dumb prizes. This is what we do.
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 1.
I agree. I wanted to be Drake London, but we just didn't get the testing in time. I think maybe he does his pro day tomorrow, but
that's okay.
Garrett Wilson in the meantime.
Isn't Drake London getting pushed down for potential red medical flags as well?
He broke his leg, but
we're waiting on like a physical.
Yeah, I mean he just hasn't ran. I think tomorrow's his pro day. I'm not expecting great things. So
I'm not expecting
be the wide receiver 1.
I'm not expecting him to lug his giant body to a fast speed.
He should just not even run it.
Correct.
Like he's already big and he's supposed to go top 15 and he's coming off a broken leg. Like I was just like, I'm not ready. See you at the draft.
I mean, I wrote this article today. It was like the haters guide the quarterback class. I just picked out on some big red flag because we can do it with everyone. And this is what pisses me off the most about like the pre-draft process. Cause like, the Drake London people just kind of will ignore his potential concerns, just like the Garrett Wilson people will, just like the Chris Olave, broken tackles people will, just like Treylon Burks, only being used in the slot and, being schemed so many touches. Like we can do this with everybody. And half the time it's just like the way they were used in their offense. Like this is what happens when we devote 3 months to talking about the same, 10 people the whole time. And mock drafts are changing every single day, it seems like, and no actual football has been played in 3 months. And guys, I don't get it.
I'm with you. Abolish the draft.
I don't understand how you don't
let him sign anywhere.
I'm good.
Dude, I would love that.
I don't understand how you don't get that though, but then you get 6 months of off-season talk where nothing happens in the redraft season.
Oh,
like
yeah,
all we do for 6 months.
Oh God,
that's only 10 weeks as well. I'm worried about week 2 USFL. I'm very worried.
You think it's gonna die that quick?
How bad would the ratings have to be?
Oh my God!
I mean, just wait till people see these teams. I'm really worried. These players are.
You think the XFL has it? They're coming back next year. That's what I'm worried about. I don't want to have to learn both these. I don't want to learn both these at the same time. That's nightmare fuel.
All right,
we have to.
We have waited, and Hayden, explain why Davis Mills goes so late when he's a 17-game starter.
Because nobody thought he was supposed to be good last year, and then it turns out he was, I don't know, fine enough. And they don't want to draft a quarterback, so that's good enough for me.
Davis Mills, fine enough. I think that sums it up.
We still have Michael Carter here. We also have Olave, expecting to be a top 16 pick. We have
Olave.
Do the Texans have like a bunch of picks or something? Or are they just going to be like shit?
3,
3 and 13.
47?
Okay, there we go. Let's use 13 on a receiver.
We will
Olave.
settle with Olave.
I like it.
And while that's going on, Ian, would you like to explain to your partner in crime why St. Brown over Devonta Smith? If you have St. Brown over Devonta Smith.
Yeah, because I mean, Devontae and Goddard in the freaking most run-heavy offense in the league with Hurts still there. I mean, just not enough opportunity. My opinion, I think St. Brown's going to get force-fed underneath targets by Jared Goff, who's terrified to throw the ball more than 10 yards downfield more times than not. I mean, if you look at like the quarterback changes at the start of the offseason, Detroit and Philly were both firmly in every discussion, and for nothing to happen there, hey, that's fine. Trusting Jalen Hurts. Maybe he does have another step to go. But, I mean, didn't Sirianni already come out and say that they're probably going to be embracing that same offense? So that's kind of why I'm down on Hurts in Dynasty. I don't think it's ideal that your new head coach came in and 6 weeks in the year had to completely scratch the normal offense and just embrace this, we're going to run the piss out of the ball scheme. So it works. Hurts, I think we underrate what a rushing quarterback adds to begin with, but it's not helping Devontae or Goddard or any of these running backs. So great for him, but missed me with most of the other guys. Do you guys have St. Brown over Devontae?
I have to go back.
I don't want the Eagles.
I don't want either of them, to be honest. I just don't want either.
Fair enough.
I just don't want. Let's see here. I don't want the wide receiver 43 in fantasy points per game. For a team, I expect to add another receiver.
That's the other thing. This offseason gone great for Amon-Ra, man. Re-signed Reynolds, Raymond, and got DJ Chark.
Why don't
we are in this kind of build, Hayden? Do you double tap quarterback?
Dude, Malik plus Kenny Pickett can kind of be interesting.
Let's go Malik and throw Kevin a bone and go Matt Corral.
We can probably wait on Corral and Kenny Pickett, I think.
Fair enough. If it's an ADP weight thing, I'll step back.
I think Ritter goes before Corral, too. I think it sounds like NFL teams are much higher on Ritter.
All right, we got to get this other pick in just real quick.
We're good.
Ritter seems like the classic.
Nasty.
Ritter seems like the classic. He was okay doing like stuff that pro teams want him to do. Yeah, Pickens for sure.
Cool. Let's
Alpha.
Let's go ahead and get Pickens in. Hayden, percentage odds that Jalen Hurts starts week 1 for the Eagles in 2023.
Oh, 20%.
Oh,
that's higher than I was going to give.
I was going to say like, I don't know, 40, but damn. Yeah,
ooh, 40.
Probably better. Yeah. Okay. But exactly. This dude's still like a easy top 10 dynasty QB. Not for me, but I know some of you out there.
Man, I was going to say like 8 to 10. Like, I'm pretty sure the Eagles already are moving on mentally.
And like I don't know that he's going to go I don't know teams are going to be lining up to give him another chance. Unfortunately, it's just, they're probably going to pigeonhole him that style of play. Should they or should they not? I don't know. But, let's face it. We see like the shitty pocket passers get way more of a longer leash sometimes than the guys that run the ball 10 plus times.
Pickett, Corral, still on the board.
Pickett.
We have 5 receivers, 2 running backs.
Well, Pickett and Corral.
Let's do that. No, we already have Malik.
Hey, is Sam Howell a phony, or is he going to like put up some rushing yards?
Dude, who's the last draft analyst you've seen talk positive about Sam Howell? It's been months since I've seen it. I have. He's going to go round 3, I think.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard any buzz about him whatsoever.
We just take Josh Palmer. Why?
How do we take Josh Palmer when I started Kenny Pickett?
It's because we probably have draft limitations on.
Daigle.
I got to draft him. Draft Pickett.
Cool. Well,
so we didn't have a choice. All right, whatever. Maybe Palmer over. I could see them using him just over Guyton a little bit more straight up, but. One of those guys, I think we're talking about, I think here where we were saying, or at least I was saying, that Diami Brown has basically had like the offseason we were hoping for Josh Palmer.
Until Chris Olave goes number 11, and then we got to figure all this out again.
Dude, they love their Buckeye wide receivers, and I love them for it. It's about the only thing I like about the Washington football franchise. All right.
Last pick, we has to be a running back, right, Hayden?
Trey Sermon, bounce back? No.
We got to go Zamir because we already got Eli.
Okay. I think I'd go James Cook over Zamir, but I'm good with Zamir.
Really? Even for fantasy? I can see it for
I think NFL
like upside
teams. I think NFL teams would go Cook over Zamir. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, I just think that Zamir White, if he hits as a 3-down guy. I don't see James Cook doing that.
Yeah.
But
No
it's a
big deal.
toss-up.
No big deal.
Cook's one of those guys where, like, if he goes to maybe like 5 or 6 teams that have a bunch of those like, what if he goes to the Chiefs or something, and he goes to some team that has a bunch of available RB targets, then he can get excited. Or it's like a Khalil Herbert thing where he lands somewhere and you're just like, this was fun. I know Herbert had a nice handcuff stretch, but
he's who we wanted Kenny Gainwell to be. Like, Kenny Gainwell's, I don't think very good. James Cook is actually good.
Dude, people will not quit on Gainwell. I'm still seeing him in like the low 40s. Like, how many? Dude, I feel like it's like an infinite number of Eagles RBs would have to get hurt before Gainwell ever got a 3-down roll. They would just, Adrian Peterson would come back, Frank Gore would hang up the boxing gloves and come back before they actually give Gainwell 10+ carries again.
I forget that Yingling. It's so smooth. Bullock's in the
overrated, in my opinion.
It is very overrated, but it's very smooth. Bullock's is number 3. He's the one who reached on Trey Lance, or maybe not reached, but drafted him first. Then got Justin Fields to double tap quarterback. Najee Harris started with a workhorse running back. These 3 receivers are pretty strong, actually. At least they're going to be on the field. Kenneth Walker, these 2 rookies, John Dotson, who keeps on steaming up boards, first round, mid-first perhaps. Khalil Herbert, who Hayden talked about, and then Amari Rodgers and Diami Brown as dart throws. Hayden, what do you think of that build?
Hold on. Where do you hear Dotson mid-first? Is that common knowledge? That sounds crazy.
Like Saints or Eagles is a possibility, since we expect them to take a wide receiver with one of their 2 picks.
Interesting.
7 receivers are going off that board. 7 receivers are going off the board in the first round.
Yeah, I think it's at least I think it's either be 6 or 7. I think Dotson makes sense. Packers 22, Chiefs 29. One of those 2 would make some sense.
Pickens and Watson are the wild cards.
Yeah, dude. Pickens. The Chiefs need an X receiver, so Pickens makes sense. And so do the Packers. So that's why I think Pickens has at least some chance of sneaking in there. Those teams don't really need like a Sky Moore type. They need a dude. So maybe so. As for his team, dude, Kenneth Walker, man, like, I don't understand why he goes so late. Like, he goes after Michael Carter and 1 spot ahead of Ramondre Stevenson. Like, to me, that's absolutely crazy. Kenneth Walker is really good.
I have one question with Kenneth Walker. What if he hadn't transferred? What if he had gone, stayed where he's at, and had a good year? Same conversation? Nothing would have changed?
Oh, no, I think he needed to get out of there. That offense is ridiculous, man. They have like one of the most unique offenses there is. So he needed to upgrade himself.
Okay. I know I think he kind of got hurt, but he was having like a good year even before, obviously blowing up at Michigan State. So I do just wonder if it was more of like going to a high profile Big Ten school, had the 5 touchdowns. He was like a Heisman contender for the first 8 weeks of the year. It's just, I know he's good, but it's like, aren't there some receiving concerns? Is he going to be this early down guy? I saw PFF draft guy Mike Renner was saying like legit in pass pro, like what he was doing last year is not even close. Yeah, like that's not great.
Yeah. I come from like J.K. Dobbins, which I'm sure you're really high on, but like that type of profile where he can catch some passes, but depending on his landing spot, he just might be like a really explosive early down player, which can be fine. Like Javonte Williams were kind of projecting this like receiving role. He didn't really have it that much. So I think that we're like dealing with that type of talent. His explosive play rate and broken tackles and yards after the contact were special. And then I think like Dane Brugler on the A Good Football Show podcast, ever heard of it? He said that their offense they didn't have a need to throw him the ball because he was ripping off big plays, which like I don't really fully buy, but like there's at least some reason you can say. And it's always the damn Big Ten. It's the running back prospects that don't catch passes. It's always the Big Ten. They love to just fucking run the ball down your throat and play defense. It's like how that conference works. So it'd be a lot different if he wasn't catching passes out of like the Big 12 or Pac-12.
That's what makes the Bills adding a running back and only being linked essentially to Breece Hall so interesting, Because yes, Brees Hall makes sense in that averaging 27 receptions per season. They went after J.D. McKissic for that third down role. They want explosiveness, okay. But all the explosive runs that Kenneth Walker would bring, as you mentioned, that's also important because even when Devin Singletary was being treated as a workhorse running back in his last 6 starts, including the playoffs, he wasn't explosive. Like, he only had an 8% rate of runs 10 plus yards. That's why, like, they signed Matt Breida, even though they healthy scratched him. They literally just want someone who can not only break tackles, but make big plays. And that person doesn't exist on their roster right now.
I think Brugler had Kenneth Walker mocked to the Bills in the second round in his latest mock draft, which would make a lot of sense. I think the teams that are like 70% neutral pass rate, they're not looking for a running back that can catch the ball. Like, they want to like kind of lower that a little bit and be able to like get them out of these too high shells if I want to be Mr. Film Bro. And I think that Kenneth Walker could make more sense for that team.
They also brought in Isaiah Spiller and James Cook for top 30 visits, which tells you that if they do pass on Brees Hall at 25, they're very clearly in the market for a running back on day 2, which is concerning for Devin Singletary. Also, Hayden, the
what about
quarterback
Duke Johnson?
run really happened in round.
Where's Duke Johnson fall into all this? I know.
Hayden, quarterback run happened in round 3.
Just ignores me.
We moved past any Duke Johnson hype whatsoever. So basically, when this happens, when these 4 guys are off the board and you weren't part of it, you could just skip from that point forward like we did, right? Because the big 4 are gone. Thus, Mac Jones, Davis Mills. We know no one else will be in a hurry to grab these guys.
I guess it just kind of depends on your evaluation of Mac Jones. I think that we should have probably gone Mac Jones at 17 if we weren't trying to do this as a bit. But that's just because I think Mac Jones is just way better than Davis Mills. Like,
and as we load up, go ahead.
I think that the Patriots offense is going to completely change this offseason. Like, we have some time to figure it out. It's going to depend on their who they draft, but they got rid of their fullback. They got rid of their better interior offensive linemen. They trade for Devontae Parker. What if they just say, screw this neutral balanced offense? Let's put the ball in Mac Jones' hands, exactly how they did at Alabama, where they were just throwing the ball around like crazy. So kind of interesting.
Spread them out or
Ian,
just
what are
run
your
it
thoughts
down
on
their
Devontae
fucking
Parker?
throats with Harris and Stevenson. I mean, I do think they could throw a little more. I'm always a little more interested, I think, in trying to figure out this Patriots backfield, which it's always tough. But James White is someone coming back, taking that Brandon Bolden role. You know, he was one of 5 or 6 running backs last year to catch 4 passes per game. I know, small sample, but you know, that's who he is. Maybe even, or if he gets cut, because I know he only has like $500K guarantee. It's just like, what's the rule of thumb? Take the cheapest Patriots running back. Ty Montgomery, perhaps. I used to hate him wearing number 88, but you know what? We're letting people do anything these days, so whatever. The wide receivers, I don't know, man. I guess we can get behind Kendrick Bourne. I didn't know Kendrick Bourne was that good. You know, I obviously watched him in San Francisco and just they decided to design him the reverses and shit that I thought we were going to go to Aguilar. He had a couple boom weeks down the stretch. You know, Jacoby's fine, but I question if there's a big enough upside. Like, it seemed like Mac Jones came out of the gate and was like the best rookie QB, which is great. But let's face it, overall, he was, you know, a pretty average NFL quarterback. And maybe he has another ceiling, but I know coming out, he was kind of lauded as just the most pro-ready quarterback. So we'll see if that's him every year or if he can actually take a step up. I don't know that he's going to be this fancy difference maker, maybe ever, though.
I know it's also still a possibility they go skill player in round 1 at 21. Also, even though I think they still go interior offensive line, that's where they need the most help. And they, as we know, always just take the value or trade out. That's it. So despite the skill player rumors, I bet it's still Zion Johnson or Kenyon Green.
Yep. When I did my like a mock draft that I'm going to upload later, and like one of the first things I did is put Zion Johnson 21 to the Patriots. It's like, all right, we're jamming that in, figuring out the rest later.
If Zion Johnson's off the board and Treylon Burks, who I think is still dipping, he's going to go in the first round for sure, but he's still dipping. If he falls to the Cowboys, it gets really interesting because those Arkansas ties run thicker than water. Like
thicker than himself.
Jerry Jones is making the splash. He doesn't care about having a good team. He cares about the headlines.
Do you think he plays the slot or is it CD time finally?
I think it's going to be CD time no matter what.
Yeah.
CD definitely top 5 wide receiver for sure.
Dude, I need you guys' take on this. Dane Brugler said that Treylon Burks was playing at 240 pounds last year. 240 pounds. He's 6'2" flat. Like, is that not scary? Is that like?
You've seen the film. How does he separate at that size? Like when I heard that 240, and then you watch his film, and he literally runs away from like Alabama defenders.
Josh Gordon was probably 230 plus. I feel like at certain points, especially later in the career.
Man, I guess I'm the only one that's nervous about this. That 6'2", 240 is not the most natural NFL build. I don't know, man. It's David Boston. His boom bust profile is out of control to me. Like I don't think people are talking about his like downside risk just enough.
What did he weigh in at the combine at?
225, but he ran pretty slow.
Yeah.
Slow is worrisome. We are 1-3 in this 2 of 2 draft, which makes it more interesting because we'll probably go running back, right? Jamar Chase is probably going to go. We have the Javonte and Najee conversation.
Do you guys buy the, like, all right, is Big Ben leaving? Who is it bad for? Because is it worse for Najee or Deontay, or is it like everyone? Or is it going to be better?
I think we'll know after the draft, because if it's like Malik Willis or something like that, I think it's bad for everybody. If it's Kenny Pickett, I think that it's probably good or about the same for everybody.
Interesting. All right. I just wonder if Trubisky is going to pepper Najee and Deontay underneath the same way Ben did. And it's like, I have the same. Yeah, like I'm a little bit down on Deontay. I haven't like ranked, I don't know, around like where I did last year. But now he's like kind of booming up, it seems like. And I see the targets. I was high on him last year, but it's like, really? Claypool could honestly take over. Yeah.
The fact James Washington got out of the way because they made Chase Claypool a rotational player, which Washington does open up more routes. And Ben's deep ball to Claypool has the past 2 years, not just last year, has been inefficient as hell. The issue for me, like it always comes back to targets are still earned. And so like, even though Roethlisberger was never going to throw deep, like Deontay was still earning those 9 targets per game. Like that's still really impressive to get.
I hear you, but it's basically the same thing about Waddle. And like we've had plenty of film on both guys. I understand they're really good receivers, but I don't love doing these efficiency studies and seeing like these guys' names in like the bottom 10. Like you don't see these other receivers, and we can talk about the situations and talk through like, are the targets being earned as much here or weren't they? So who are we going though?
Brees or ETN? Unless you want Waddle.
I would go Brees, and then let's not draft another running back. We're going to go superhero RB and not touch it. Because you only start 2 at the most, and you can only start 1 if you want to as well.
Cool. Works for me. We had 3 last draft, correct?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
I think we had 3. That's fine. To your point, though, Ian, yeah, that also is about slot receivers, which is always the issue with slot receivers, is that are they talented or are they just getting pounded targets? Like Jameson Crowder is not explosive, but he earns targets. Like he earned 7 targets per game the last 3 years with the Jets. Jalen Waddle earned targets. Amon-Ra St. Brown earned targets. So like no matter what we think about their athleticism, they're still slot receivers getting pounded the ball. So that's okay.
I mean, Deontay's not a slot. I know he got the targets, but bro, like Pittsburgh threw more of those like just quick screens like right at the line of scrimmage than anyone. It was absurd sometimes.
Roethlisberger got rid of the ball at the quickest rate of any quarterback.
Yeah.
Dude, so much of those were like off coverage, just like quick outs for like 5 yards, and like defenses are like, sure, dude, like fine, that doesn't bother us.
All right, Amon-Ra St. Brown still here. Let's go that direction. We are going, even though Elijah Mitchell's on there, we will go superhero RB, and then let's keep on waiting at quarterback and see what happens. Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Davis Mills still on the board. I think if you get Davis Mills and 1 rookie, that might be okay, right? That'll get you by in these.
Sounds awful to me, but
okay.
Let's go Mac.
I know.
Okay.
Let's go Mac if he's there.
Cool. Let's play it out.
How is Zach Wilson going ahead of Mac? I mean, I'm not digging his grave just yet, but come on.
Well, here's your chance. We're going Mac over Zach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did anyone watch games? Did anyone watch games last year? Anybody? Did anybody out there watch a single football game last year?
What the hell?
Also, Najee Harris was on the rookie-sophomore shot list. So cheers, gentlemen. Drink your water, Hayden.
Oh, hell yeah.
Not to mention Mac Jones is a better prospect than Zach Wilson in the first place. But that's for another show.
Yes. Okay.
Mac.
We have our quarterback. We have options to potentially stack Mac Jones as well. So it seems like you are very strong if you wait until the 4th round at quarterback, you could still easily piece together a QB1 throughout the tournament series.
I guess it just depends if you think like Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, or Trey Lance are just going to go full sicko mode and like leave Mac Jones in the dust. You know, like that's kind of the debate. If you don't think that those 3 guys are going to do anything, then Mac Jones is just as good of a fantasy quarterback as those other guys. But if Trey Lance does top 7, top 8 fantasy numbers this year, like good luck trying to win this thing with Mac Jones, right?
Why did you leave Justin Fields out of sicko mode?
Well,
because he's not going sicko mode.
Byron Pringle, name an offensive lineman there. How confident are you in that coaching staff?
Game changer, Byron Pringle. Davis Mills, is he your ideal QB2?
Yeah, or Mac Jones is my ideal QB2 after getting Trey Lance. But yeah, I like Davis Mills here. Who are the wide receivers just in case somebody slipped?
Davis Mills.
Oh, I would go Drake London.
Cool.
Hey, I have an overall running back question with the incoming guys. If you look across the depth charts in the league, there really aren't many / any that really are wide open. I wonder if we just kind of see a down year overall from these rookie running backs. Like I was going through it today. And I get it. There's the Jets, the Falcons, Texans. You can name a couple other squads, but like even then, they have guys if they want to just stand pat.
Yeah, I don't understand the Bills' first round love for running backs. Like I think they can possibly get Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker in the 2nd round, just because like no one needs these guys.
Yeah.
I have Davis Mills queued up as
it.
a QB2 in round 6. I think that's actually pretty awesome.
I like that.
And we got Drake before. That'll work.
It's wide receivers the rest of the draft.
You would think that being a big physical badass is like a bad thing, the way Twitter talks sometimes. Like, I'm sorry he can freaking put up these numbers and also be a big human being at the same time.
Hayden and Josh love Drake London. There's no bashing there.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I'm straw man yelling, but
no people. There are people out there that think Drake London absolutely sucks.
I just think I understand. Like, he has a bunch of contested catches, but I think Hayden's pointing this out. Like, he was the entire offense, and there's, contested catches are a different thing than separation. Sometimes we don't. I think just take that in mind enough. Like, you can win separation and have your quarterback throw a shitty pass, and then it becomes a contested catch. They're two separate things. I've seen the list of comps sometimes, and they are worrisome. But # watch the film.
Executive decision: Jameson Williams.
After today's news, yeah. Sure.
Let's go.
He is sick. I mean,
he's getting all the hype, man. Like literally 3 days ago, it was top 16. 24 hours ago, now it's top 10 all of a sudden. I put out my first mock tomorrow morning, overnight actually tonight after
Let's
this.
go.
And Jameson Williams.
Are you still Two Mock John? Is that it? Two Mock Daigle? Is that the nickname?
I'm Johnny Two Mock. Yep, that's it. No content grinding here. Johnny Two Mock. You take your 2 mocks and shove it. Yeah. I'm not going for your clicks.
Daigle said that in a podcast in like 2019. He's like, it's why they call me Johnny Two Mock. And Josh and I were like, what are you? I've never heard you refer to as that. But
Johnny Two Mock. And Johnny Two Mock will have Jameson Williams number 4 overall. I'm going George Pickens here, by the way.
I think didn't Silva have Garrett Wilson 4th overall in his one today?
He did, but then he tweeted afterwards in a thread that he would have Jameson Williams, who we already had it.
8?
Yeah, higher.
Or 10? Yeah.
So I think that means actually he would move him. I think I convinced him to push him to number 4.
I think Jameson Williams with the Falcons.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That makes sense. You're the one actually who brought it up to me about basically the message from Atlanta restructuring Matt Ryan's deal before they traded him, saying we don't like this class. Like, we would rather have Matt Ryan in this class, and that makes sense.
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense. Okay. Oh, we have Davis Mills. We should go Nico Collins, right?
Adds up.
Unfortunately, yes, we should.
Well, Christian Watson. Sorry, Hayden, but like, what if he goes to Packers or Chiefs?
No, he's a good pick.
Which one? Let's go. I want the stat.
That's fun.
Waiting on quarterback, Hayden, I think this is actually pretty sick. Like, I kind of like this.
We didn't go
Again, like you
egregiously.
said, it comes down
this
to
is fine.
it comes down to Trey Lance or Trevor Lawrence ending you. Like, do they end you? And I don't know if they do.
We got Mac, what, round 3?
4?
Yeah,
4.
14th overall.
Because we went
I'll play.
Amon Ra. That might be a play.
Real quick, the Christian Watson thing. I'm gonna rank him appropriately in fantasy, and like I would pick him here. I just don't understand why. Like, seriously, like what has he done to make him a first round guy? Like, we had not heard of him before the combine. Let's be honest here. He has like 10 total touchdowns in like 5 years. He was getting outplayed by other players when Trey Lance was there, and he runs fast, and then all of a sudden he's a first round guy. Like, this is crazy. Like, how different is he than Alec Pierce? Like, it's the same exact profile. I mean, he goes like 50 picks later. I just don't understand it.
I saw Alec Pierce popping in a few things I was looking at, and I was starting to get behind him. Him and Romeo Doubs, man. This is the year.
I attribute Kerrane for any Alec Pierce. I'm pretty sure he's the one talking him up. JJ's talking up Kyle Phillips as just a slot receiver who could earn targets in a vacated situation. And then Hayden, you like Romeo Doubs, right?
I have not watched him. I like Khalil Shakur.
I'm the Romeo Doubs guy.
Yes. Okay. We have a Khalil Shakur and a Romeo Doubs guy on the podcast.
Let's go.
I'm biased towards contested catch artists that people yell about not being able to separate.
Then maybe you don't like Drake London after all.
No, well, yeah. He's fine, man. I mean, I think the top 5 are like, you could arguably interchange them all. I kind of like disagree. I don't think London's like overall wide receiver 1, but again, I think we just yell at each other over the same 5 players, and like they're all freaking awesome prospects. Like, even if you think he's 1 or you think he's 3, like when Daniel Jeremiah and people way smarter than me with this shit are ranking him 10th, like I don't think it makes sense for me to have like this definitive stance against the guy because of the 10 minutes of YouTube highlights I watched. Christ.
When we get to this range with rookies, like for Mac Jones and Davis Mills, Hayden, where should we be looking at? Just like the most talented?
Yeah, I'll just go evaluation, whoever you think. I would probably go David Bell, personally.
I think it's Bell, personally, yeah.
You mean Devontae Adams?
Yeah. The next Devontae Adams.
Don't get me started.
I sorted negative 40 time in my spreadsheet. I haven't looked at a single bit of information, and he's the next Devontae Adams. Let me filter a couple things.
Any slow guy who commands targets
Analytics,
suddenly
baby.
Devontae Adams.
My comp is Devontae Adams, and this is my wide receiver 6 in the class.
Yeah, don't filter the vertical where Devontae Adams was like 80th percentile, or I don't know that he had 17,000 yards in college and was an early declare. Don't look at that, but if you look at everything else.
Dude, he's got one of those just the only college game log I've gone back and seen a guy like legit not miss for an entire season is Justin Blackman. But Devontae Adams has a year or two where like you only see 1 or 2 even like somewhat down games. It's absurd. Right, Crabtree like barely ever missed too.
We got Shakur.
Make sure you actually draft him because I think we might get that Q problem just in case.
Oh, okay. We'll go Shakur. That's fine. I'm just starring some guys, but I'll go ahead and draft them.
Fine.
The reason to like Khalil Shakur, he military family. He lived in Hawaii. He lived in Japan, and he's an absolute alpha. He's dope as fuck. Go listen to some of his interviews. That dude, there's no way that coaches aren't going to love him. And a good athlete.
He's the type of guy you want your daughter to marry, you know?
And he's already married. Shout out him at 22.
Oh, wow.
Move him up the ranks, baby.
Well, the last time I wanted to like a guy because he was just a good person was Simi Fehoko last year for the Cowboys. Because he went away from football for like 7 years on a missionary in Japan or wherever and came back and like can't even make special teams now. He's like Julio Jones who doesn't know how to play football.
Shout out, isn't that, I mean, shout out Matthew Berry. Isn't he like love Kalen Ballage all these years because he did have like a nice interview with him. I can see how it completely shapes your interest with someone. I think that's we see it like with Teddy Bridgewater or some of these other guys. Like when they're great stories, like we should never talk shit about these players anyway. But especially not when they're like legitimately good people.
So we had a 1-1 where we waited until the 5th round for a quarterback, and I thought that went pretty well, but it could still be a little sketchy since we had 2 rookies behind Davis Mills. Whereas with this one, 3-3. We wait until the fourth round, 1-3. Mac Jones is QB1. Davis Mills is QB2. We're assuming 2 17-game starters. And in that strategy, we got to pick off 2 workhorse running backs to start. We assume workhorse running backs. At least we hope Breece Hall earns his way. And then guys we expect to be first-round receivers or command targets. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, Drake London, Jameson Williams, Pickens, a stack with Nico Collins, Davis Mills, Christian Watson, David Bill, Khalil Shakur. 228. I think 228 is pretty strong.
I like that.
Yeah,
and with that, gentlemen,
it's a bad day to be these other teams whose names I can't really pronounce.
You may have got one over on us in the first draft. You may have been plus EV. I don't think plus EV, though, in this one. This one's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this one.
Too sharp, baby.
That was us sacrificing ourselves, and I think it works. I honestly think 228 and waiting kind of works as long as Trey Lance and Trevor Lawrence don't end the world.
We picked our first one like round 6 the first time. Like we were just playing with fire, but second draft went well. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of each and every one of you.
I'm proud of everyone for taking shots as well. Same for you, Daniel, and Mr. Scampers. I saw you just asked about Tywan Jones. I didn't know how to respond. They re-signed him to play special teams, so there you go.
No, he made that one play against Buffalo.
There you
Remember
go.
that? We were at the bar with that day. I'm just trying to prolong
against Buffalo. Oh, 2 years ago.
Yeah, when Watson broke the sack in overtime, breaks 2 tackles, and then just dumps it down to Tywan Jones, who runs the 5-yard line. Duke Johnson had a great game that day too.
All right, enough. End this.
3-down grinder.
Every time I bring up Duke Johnson, we just ignore
enough.
It. To be fair, I did tell Greg Rosenthal one time that Duke Johnson's not good, and then he got upset because he's he's a great third down back. He's like, I still don't think he knows how to read between the tackles at all in the NFL, but whatever. Hayden, your thoughts?
I have no Duke Johnson takes at all, man. How could you?
He's a used all-time leading rusher. Show some damn respect.
Not your thoughts on Duke Johnson and what he did 9 years ago, but what else do you have coming out this week?
Prospects, YouTube, Underdog Football Show. We'll be having an NFL draft live stream talking about fantasy sports and giving out prizes to the chat and all that stuff. So if you got nothing else to do, put us on your second string during the actual draft.
Ian, what do you have coming out?
I'm so sorry that last year Duke Johnson gave you all overall RB1 finish in week 15. And I got to hear this man slandered. PFF Fantasy Football Podcast. Plenty of other goodness on PFF.com. Fun time talking to you guys already. Free Duke.
I will have my mock draft up later this evening. Until then, this is not Duke Johnson saying goodbye. Next Thursday happy hour, 6 p.m. Eastern. Looking forward to it. Thanks for joining.